Oh, this is mummy. No. Excuse me. You have karma available. That's right. Four quickness. 3 strength. Sure. The streets of Wampa Garden are slick with rain, glittering under the neon glow of myriad signs and holographic displays. The sky reflects the same glow, painting the white apartment blocks with the sickly orange of sodium streetlights. The smell of grilling meat mingles with other rarer scents, ozone, engine oil, and high-tech fabrication facilities. Despite the hour, there are plenty of people out and about. You can hear the calls of street vendors and touts urging people into their stores. Isabel wrinkles her nose, scowling darkly. She wraps her arms tightly around her chest, staring off into the distance. Is there a word for feeling nostalgic for a place you can't wait to leave again? I don't miss this place, but I miss the feelings I had when I lived here. Not that I know of. Isabel sighs heavily. This place seemed like heaven after the walled city, like the whole world had unfurled in front of me, and anywhere I turned there was the promise of a good life. It turned out this place was just as crappy as everywhere else. Everyone was still in it for themselves. Gavit claps a hand on Isabel's shoulder, who flinches and pulls away. That's a great life lesson, Is. I'm serious. At the end of the day, life's a raw deal. You got yourself and a handful of friends, and that's it. Nothing else. Duncan casts a sidelong glance at Isabel, and Gobbett shaking his head. You got some strange ideas about life. Sure, life's a meat grinder, but come on. There's gotta be more to life than just surviving. Does there? What makes you the authority on that? Isabel waves a dismissive hand. I'm done talking about this. Anyways. Isabel turned towards you and points down the street to your left. We're looking for the Wampum Elders. They're gonna be in the Wampa itself. That's the big ship down the street. I've seen pictures. It looks like a yacht. Isabel nods, lips pursed. That's the one. Kinda hard to miss. And it's been a fixture since late last century. These days, it's just a squat. Shops are family affairs, not corporate ones. Is there anything I should know about the Wampans? They're all tech heads, tinkerers, and self-taught scientists. Despite the fact that there is no formal education system, everyone here is pretty smart. They apprentice kids to skilled workers so they can learn a trade. Elder Gao taught me decking, and I left after she got brain fried trying to crack an Mitsuhama network. Elder Ip taught me to shoot. He should still be here. Come on, let's go see what they have to say for themselves. Alright. Tijuana. That was weird. That is a spider or something on me, like a bug. I don't know. I'm in a basement. It happens. To the Whampa. Elder. Excuse me. This orc woman is festooned with small circuits, tiny triad screens, or tiny trid screens, and speakers. The trid screens display snippets of trid broadcasts from every corner of the world. The tiny speakers play counterpoint with a susurrus of voices speaking Barathil and Punjabi, Kazakh, and other languages. Her expression is haggard, and she fidgets with her fingers as you approach. Welcome to the Wampa, my friend. I am Elder Hung, and these are Elders Tang and Ip. I'm just going to call it NG. Gestures to the elf and human, who each incline their heads respectfully. Thank you so much for answering our request for help. We had nowhere else to turn. It's the least I could do. Under Tang's skin, glowing tattoos writhe and change shape. Tigers become cranes and move on to dragons. We're under threat, one by one. We elders are being hunted by some monster. As you may have noticed when you arrived, there's been another killing just tonight. Ip crosses his solid chrome arms. Holographic readouts dance constantly over their surface, displaying diagnostic information about their state, operating temperature, servo pressure, and a variety of other minute minutae. He looks past you, towards Isabel. The prodigal daughter returned once more. I didn't expect to see you back aboard the Wampa in my lifetime, Isabel. When you disappeared, other Yetud was very put out. I'm glad you're still alive. When you chose to walk your own path, I was disappointed, but I still understood why you had to leave. It pauses, tasting the air as he chooses his next words with care. I hope my lessons have helped you prosper. Didn't expect to be back either. Work takes you places, though. Isabel shrugs. A moment later, she places a hand on her pistol, eyes strained on Ip's shoes. I don't cart this around for fun, Ip. The lessons kept me alive. Isabel blinks several times and looks up at MG, her expression clouded. Where is Yetud, anyways? I expected her to be here. MG shakes her head sadly. She reaches out a hand towards Isabel, who shrinks away from it. She's dead. So are Gan and Nakamura. And Tong was killed just tonight. So much blood. You have to stop this from continuing. Isabel's expression remains impassive, but her knuckles grow white as her hands ball up into fists. That's what we're here for. We'll stop the killings. Thank you, Isabel. And G lifts a hand, wiping away tears from her eyes. What happened to Tong? The same thing that happened to the rest of the victims. Evisceration and dismemberment. We sent a guard to keep people out of his shop, but he'll let you in. When did he die? Sometime early tonight. He'd locked up his shop, but Ip stopped by to ask him about some skill chips he had. The door was unlocked, and inside. And G lifts her hand helplessly. She opens her mouth, but no words come out. Seeing Angie's inability to continue, Ip takes over. Inside looked like a bad horror sim, just like all the other murders. It had to have happened after sundown, because I saw his shop was open when I was on my way to get some noodles for dinner. Why didn't you call the police? The Hong Kong police force isn't welcome here. They've tried to force us out several times before, or come hunting for someone to pin a crime on. We do a lot of favors for local gangs and triads. Handle their matrix security, fix up their gear, and make sure they have access to the Hong Kong Shadowlands hub. We're too valuable a resource for them to lose, so they protect us when the HKPF or anyone else decides we're an easy target. They handle our physical security, and we make sure to send the message via the Matrix. Last time the HKPF made trouble, we started airing the assistant chief's dirty laundry over the Trid. They got the picture and backed off. You made any enemies lately? NG shrugs helplessly. Not that I could think of. We keep to ourselves. We buy and sell technology. We're not mercenaries, or criminals, or merchants and deckers. And even if someone was cheated in a deal, this kind of response is unthinkable. Whatever did this, it wasn't human. The violence and savagery. It's a monster, whatever it is. Plenty of metahumans are monsters too, NG. Just because it's horrible doesn't mean it's supernatural. What can you tell me about the murders? They started 2 weeks ago. The first to go was gone. We found him in his apartment, eviscerated. NG swallows, grimacing at the painful memory. He'd been torn apart. His head had been ripped completely off, most of his skin filleted away. There was so much blood, it took us a week to clean out his apartment. Tang nods, running his palm over his forehead. The rest have been the same. Always at night, always dismembered. Each scene is like a nightmare. And every time nobody has seen anything, it's like a ghost. What do you do? Isabel snores derisively. They make the rules and kick people out who don't obey them. They're a bunch of petty tyrants, that's what. You're being unfair, Isabel. Our laws are for the good of the community. Tang turns to address you. We keep the Wampa and its residents safe. We review trade agreements with outsiders to see if they're good for the community. We provide a guiding vision, like a town council. The rules are made to be broken. Elder Ip laughs, quickly stifling it as NG and Tang give him a dirty look. I can see why Isabel is on your team. You and she are very much alike, I suspect. I am the invoker of sprites. I commune with the spirits of machines, ask them for blessings, pass those blessings on to the people here. I heal the sick and ensure the feng shui of our habitats is as good as it can be, given our confines. She's a shaman, that's all. She's just got some kooky spin on it. Claims her totem is some kind of all-encompassing machine god that lives in circuitry. Isabel pats her deck, looking at NG. Ancient gods and ancestors are one thing. My deck, it's mine. I built it. The only spirits it's got in it are the ESPs I loaded it up with. NG gives Isabel a look of deep sadness. Just because you cannot see or touch a thing does not mean that it does not exist. Just because you do not believe in it does not mean it does not protect you from far. I can't touch programs either, but at least I can prove that they have an effect on the physical world. Your superstitions are just that. Bullshit. Isabel glances at you, jerking a thumb toward Tang. This guy treats drones like they're living things. Is that right? Tang extends his arms, palms up. As you watch, the tattoos therein shift into a complex mathematical formula. I am the first and glorious servo. I study patterns, repair machinery, and teach others how to attune themselves to the wonders of automation. The blessed Autofob is my shop and purview, where we make the drones we use and sell. As for me, I serve as the resplendent voltage spike. It smiles crookedly. That means I shoot people who try to screw with us. It's a fancy title for head of security. That's all for now. It might be wise to ask the residents of Wampa Garden if they've seen or heard anything. After you've gone to Tong's sensory carnival, they may have seen or heard things we have not. Good to know. I have to use the bathroom real quick. So if you will excuse me. We're back. Alright, so I have to figure out what the fuck happened to these people. Go back up. Ask around. We gotta see this, go figure out what we gotta do. Porter Lamb, at your service. The others told me that you'd be coming. They tell you about what happened to what happened to Tong? Just the basics. Well, nothing is basic about this. I've seen people shot, stabbed, beaten to death. Hell, I've even seen a corpse that was so dry and desiccated that I could have sworn a vampire got to it. None of that's got anything on this. Brace yourselves and go on in. Okay. Tong Sensory Carnival looks like a scene out of a B-grade slasher sim. The cloying scent of incense hangs thick and pungent in the air, emanating from the small shrine in the corner of the shop. Unfortunately, it does nothing to cover the reek of death and clotted blood. Despite the ragged remnants of Elder Tongs littering the floor, the rest of the shop appears to be in good order. At least at first glance. Nothing is broken, tipped over, or otherwise ransacked. As you're about to step further into the room, you glance at the ceiling and walls. The blood from Tong's body isn't just confined to where his remains lie. Drying blood is spread about the walls and ceiling as well. Oof. Let's look at his body. Tong's body is a ruined mess. The destroyed ruin of his face is barely recognizable, and what is left of his body would best be described as savaged. All of his limbs have been torn off, and a pile of flayed skin lies next to the remnants of the Wampan Elder. The Wampan's clothing has all but been reduced to rags and tissue by cuts and tears, apparently sustained during the flaying. At this point, the only thing holding what's left of his body into a semblance of human form is the hair-thin fiber optics of his cyberware. Gabbett puts a hand over her mouth, speaking in an uncharacteristically serious tone. Sweet heaven, Crackrok. I haven't seen anything like that since Auntie Wong tried to stash some crustics in a devil rat's nest. It takes a lot to turn my stomach, but we sure have a winner today. This is seriously messed up. I'll second that. This isn't a murder. This is more like, I don't know, a feeding frenzy. If it weren't for the skin, I'd say Tong stepped onto a goddamn mine or something. Use astral perception to assess the body. Taking deep breaths, you allow your senses to expand into astral space. The colors of the room bleed away, replaced with the vibrant lights and emotions of the spirit world. Surprisingly, no emotions of fear or anger pervade the room. The abiding emotion the room is steeped in is one of perfunctory satisfaction, as if someone had accomplished an important task. It would seem likely that Tong was surprised. If he was not, it would be certain that you would feel lingering fear within the room. Whoa, really? Gabbett takes a moment to center herself and stares off into space. Shortly thereafter, she shakes her head and looks back at you. That's strange, Crackrok. You're right, though. He definitely didn't see it coming. Leave the body alone. The walls are covered in spattered and smeared blood, most of which is hardened into a crusty, congealed paste. Thick tracts of it run laterally. It looks like the blood has been deliberately smeared. Hey XCrackrok, I don't know a whole lot about science or all that, but I know what blood looks like when it hits a wall. This isn't natural. Somebody deliberately smeared blood all over these walls. See how it looks like it's got paint trails? That's because somebody used Tong's parts like a brush. So they painted the walls with blood. Why? Do I look like a psychologist to you? Maybe because they're a freak. Maybe they're one of those sick serial killers that sees their murderers as art. I got no clue. All I know is what normal blood looks like on a wall, and this ain't it. Some people have a bad grasp of art. I knew this guy in Guangdong that used to make music out of stray radio static and panic button calls. He called it crisis wave. It was awful. Interesting. Open the door. Desk safe. Tong's desk drawers are open, and the safe that's built into one side has been opened. There's no sign of tampering, and the green light next to the word unlocked is blinking. Whoever opened the safe did it with a key fob. Inside are several blank cred sticks, but no sign of any with money on them. Looks like someone looted his stash. A guy like this wouldn't keep only empty cred sticks in a safe. Makes sense. Search the bathroom. Tong's bathroom is immaculate, and the drains are tiny. Whatever killed him didn't exit through here. This is a Yamaha 95000V SimSynth, a device for mixing and mastering SimSense chips. Several drive bays are empty, and all of the chip jacks are empty. The screen is flashing a repeated error message. Warning: requested files could not be found. Please return drives to bay and try again. Debug the thing. Isabel rattles out some command on the SimSynth's keyboard, stepping away after a few seconds with a look of satisfaction on her face. There. Put the drive warning on suspend. It's in diagnostic mode only, though. Maybe we'll learn something. Maybe not. Beginning core dump. The long debug spew that scrolls along the synth screen is filled with numbers indicating recent files, play lengths, keyframes, and assist peak levels. Based on the numbers you're seeing, Tong's SimSynth has been hacked to remote the peak controller levels from the chips he's been burning. The required operation to make BTL chips. The delta wave outputs for these chips push them dangerously into brain-burning territory. What's up, sub? The file catalog for the high peak BTLs indicates all the files and burned chips should be stored on the missing drives and whatever was in the empty chip jacks. Somebody's cleaned out Tong's BTL stash. What's up, sub? We're just solving a murder. Trying to, at least. Do-do-do-do. Hey, buddy. This orc is busily snacking on a steamed bun. As you approach, he wipes off one of his hands and sticks that towards you. Hey, stranger. Nice to meet you. Zippy Toe Tag at your service. How are you liking Wampa Garden? XCrackrok, nice to meet you, Zippy. Nice to meet you too. Listen, I know it's a little forward of me to just say hello and whatnot, but I'm interested in giving you a hand if I can. Zippy gestures expansively at the squalid neon-lit streets of Wampa Garden. This is my home, or at least for the time being, and I'd like to stop these killings. We've never met before this, but I know exactly who you are. You're my replacement. The elders had me autopsy what was left of Elder Gon and Elder Nakamura after they got ripped apart, but I didn't want to dig any deeper. Excuse me. So since I don't know you, and I can smell a shadowrunner a mile away, you got to be the outsider they asked to stop the killings, right? Zippy tilts his head back, obviously pleased with his amateur deduction. Very astute, that's right. See, I have good eyes. A lot of good eyes, actually. If you're in the market for replacements, only slightly used, and they only come from certified donors, I swear. A hearty belly laugh erupts from the orc, and he slaps one of his thighs in elation. Man, I killed myself. Pretty funny. You stand-up comedian? With jokes like that? Are you kidding me? I'm one of the only trained surgeons around here. I keep the other wampins healthy. Gotta practice on the road. Blind Chen's a pretty good cyber doc, but he's basically an implant specialist and that's it. How'd you end up here? I did my residency back at the UCAS. Could have become a real MD too if things hadn't gone south for unrelated reasons. Zippy opens his coat, revealing a cyber deck. He pats it proudly. I also deck a little, but I'm better at slicing skin than I see. Wampa Garden seemed a good fit for me. Is it fairly peaceful? For the most part. Other than these killings, we don't have much by the way of problems. We do information security for the triads, and that makes us fairly impervious to anyone who wants to start trouble. Anyone starts something, we hit him in the matrix, while our triad friends hit him in the meat space. Some small-time gangs have tried pushing in here before, but they backed off when they figured out they weren't just picking a fight with Tang and his guys, but with both the Red Dragon and Yellow Lotus. They got the message real quick. What was left of them anyways? Customers or the Wampa Garden itself? Wampa Garden itself. Sure thing, what do you want to know? Tell me about the elders. Zippy laughs, shrugging. Well, they're an eclectic bunch, that's for sure. Where to start? And G's the spiritual leader here. She's the voice of the Wampins, I guess. A lot of her close friends are really more of followers, since she's something of a priest for the machine spirits. Maybe it's a cultural thing for people who grew up here, but it's never called to me. Still, she makes a damn fine pot of tea. Hip's the muscle, and has an encyclopedic knowledge of cyber and bioware. Definitely a good guy to have watching your back. Not too friendly, but you know how it is. You get a lot of cyber people start wondering if you'll tear their arms off. Zippy makes a chopping gesture with one hand. He's got moves straight out of Blood Carnival 3. Straight out of Blood Carnival 3, The Reckoning. Terrible movie, but a great fight choreography. What about Tang? I don't know much about him, but I think he's got some kind of fetish for automation. Found him cooing over some trids of automated delivery drones in a warehouse once. He works with drones, has a shop called the Blessed Autofob. He was raving about the efficiency of the movement patterns or something. Okay. You already know about Tong, Rand Sims, BTLs, skill chips. Gon used to be a city planner before he had a nervous breakdown and got involved in statistical analysis. Zippy paused to collect his thoughts. Nakamura came from Fukuoka and was interested in entertainment, Trid mostly. Spent a lot of time analyzing subliminals and ads. Then there was Magpie. She was the chief decker, hot as hell against IC, and built her own hardware. Salty old woman though. Never met anyone who was quite as shrill or nasty as she was mad. She was mad most of the time. No one mentioned Magpies to me. When did she die? She didn't. maybe a month ago, she just up and disappeared. I went to her shop one day and she just wasn't open. Nobody's seen her since. Kind of a pain in the ass too. She owed me some new analyze software she'd picked up. I've never heard of Magpie either. She must be one of the newer Wampins. If she was the Decker, she would have replaced Elder Gao. No surprise there. Gao was older than Kin Shuhongdi's terracotta warriors. When I was learning decking from him, he could barely get out of bed. Still fast as hell in the Matrix though. How can you be new and an elder? Isabel rolls her eyes. It's a stupid name. Doesn't actually have much to do with time spent in the community. That has something to do with it, sure, but it's mostly about how skilled you are, how good your connects are, and how much you can help everybody else. Should have called them experts or something. Bingo, that's exactly it. She was only here for about 3 years, but she knew a lot of people all over the Matrix, in Shanghai, in Beijing, all kinds of places. That plus her skill meant she was a shoo-in when Gao died. Where do you think she went? No idea. One day she was here, the next, poof. At first I thought she was just on vacation since she had mentioned wanting to see the kingdom of Hawaii someday, but it didn't feel right. She would have at least told me she was leaving. It seems mighty suspicious to me. Nobody else seems to care what happened to her, probably because she pissed them all off so bad. Any place to start looking? You might want to check out her shop. It's all locked up. The other elders have a spare key. Couldn't hurt to look around. And even though Magpie was always butting heads with the other elders, they wouldn't have any reason not to let you in. What do you mean they were butting heads? Oy. Fucking spiders in the basement, man. Magpie and the others never saw eye to eye. She was contrary to for the sake of it. Most of the rest had a good grand vision for what they wanted this neighborhood to become. Magpie just wanted to deck. She was only an elder because they needed someone with her Matrix chops. The last big argument was between her and IP and Nakamura. It was over something relatively trivial. I think Nakamura wanted to expand the pirate trade business into the Matrix, and she just absolutely refused. Why she refused? She said something about not using up valuable bandwidth for trivial entertainment bullshit. Anyway, it went from there into this rant about how she wasn't going to let Tang expand his drone business any further because it would get too much megacorp attention. They accused her of blocking them just because she could, which is probably true. Lots of screaming. I mean, blocking them. Everybody needs her Matrix skills for their businesses to run properly. There are other deckers, me, Sei, or Mo Jinbai, but she had the infrastructure. If their project didn't interest her, she wouldn't even give them the time of day. She's a real hardhead about having her time wasted, but she figures if she's not interested in something, it has no value objectively. Kind of a major blind spot if you ask me. Sounds like she was critical. Yes and no. She was, but since she disappeared, other Ip's taken over running the Matrix infrastructure. He is not as good at it as she was, but his experience with drones makes him the best candidate. They wouldn't entrust something like that to anyone who was an elder, so there you go. What are your thoughts on the murders? There's a sharp intake of breath as Zippy shakes his head. Pretty gruesome business. Gon died from a broken neck. Looked at someone who had wrenched it around, and his arms and legs were cut off. Some skin flayed away too. Nakamura had his throat ripped out by someone with pretty sharp teeth. At first I thought it was a devil rat, but the teeth marks were all from something with a humanoid jaw. I didn't look at you today. Shit. From what I saw at a distance, it was the same story. Didn't see much point since I'd seen it twice already. As for Tong, from what Porter told me, it was Gan and Nakamura all over again. You take a look at him yet? Yeah, same as described. Zippy shakes his head. Damn, I like Tong. The BTL business is unsavory, but the man had to eat, and his regular Sims were great. Generally, all around nice guy. Friendly with everyone, never had anyone mad at him. There ain't no justice, let me tell you. See you later, Zippy. Get the key to Magpie's shop. Elders. Why didn't you tell me about Elder Magpie disappearing? Why would we have? Her departure from the Wampans isn't related to your investigation. It happened just before the killings began. I'm certain she was off sulking somewhere. Angie's tone is profound, indifferent. No doubt she'll come waltzing back next month, all full of attitude that life dared to go on without asking her permission. If she does, we'll welcome her back. Despite our problems with her behavior, her skills make her extremely valuable. I've taken over maintenance of our Matrix infrastructure in her absence, but I'm nowhere near her level. The best I can do is ensure nothing breaks down until she returns. I'd like to look around the shop. You got the key? Yes, but there's a lot of sensitive equipment in there, including our community servers. We don't let anyone who's not one of the Wampin elders in there. Why would you need to look in there? Listen, you want me to find a killer? I'm gonna do that. I have to explore every possibility. Very well. Take the key and look around. Just don't break anything or shut the servers off. Is there anything else? Nope. Got it. The jack point. I don't know what's with me today, man. I'm exhausted for some reason. Oh. Alright, what's this? Display case. The bin is full of assorted chips, peripherals, and add-on modules for cyberdecks. They don't seem to be arranged in any coherent fashion, and are spread across the felt surface. Search the bin. You sit through the display case, searching for anything that might prove interesting. Isabel peers past you into the bin as you search. That's interesting. There's a lot of storage memory. I/O handlers and active memory in this bin. I'm not seeing any MPCP hardware, response increased chips, or anything related to the hot shit decking Magpie was supposed to be into. In fact, you couldn't even build a full deck with this without the MPCP. It's just a glorified comlink. What do you think it means? Well, if I had to guess, I'd say someone cleared her out. MPCP response increased, biofeedback filters and all that. They're easy to move, expensive, and highly illegal. All the rest of this crap is good, but it's nothing you can pick up at any electronic shop. You have to know what you're looking for, though. Only a good decker would know what they're seeing. Mind by taking them with her? Isabel gestures towards one of the other displays. A pair of small cyber decks sit inside the locked case. I guess so. But if she did that, why would she leave the completed cyber decks? No, I think this was theft. Okay. Cool. I got you. Got you. Open server. The front of the server's case hangs open, the inner machinery quiet and without power. A clipboard is stuck to the side by a piece of duct tape. Its papers fill a long list of programs and their prices. Quick glance over the program sheet reveals names like Bugs, and Black Hammer. Undoubtedly, this was Magpie's attack program storage machine. Isabel. Somebody's moved the drives, and it sure wasn't Magpie. Here, look. Isabel gestures to the innards of the open server near the back. A solitary red light blinks. The main drives were disconnected properly, but it looks like she modded the server to have a backup drive with its own battery-based power supply. If it was Magpie, she'd have taken that too. Crap, this is a Fuji XB1000, and it looks like the battery power ran out a while ago. The XB1000s are constant write drives. They're dirt cheap and have a ton of capacity, but if they run out of power, they lose their data. We're not going to be able to get anything off the drive. Damn. Magpie's desk. Magpie's desk, the kind of messy most people only associate with a rat's nest, hoarders, and deckers. The surface of the desk is littered with cigarette butts, half-finished cans of Soykov, and scraps of electronics. A towering pile of empty instant noodle bowls sits next to it. Their sides are blazoned with honest wangs, instant old-time lamian. They depict a line of top hat-wearing caterpillars dancing with canes. Hey, awesome, I didn't think anybody but me liked honest wang noodles. Flavor like you've never tasted in a package of instant noodles, I promise. Gavin taps the side of one containing. See, this one's Chinese curry broccoli. I don't know why it never caught on, honestly. Duncan shoots you a sidelong glance, mumbling Sato voice. Gee, who could pass up the delicious taste of cheese, curry, and freeze-dried vegetables? Gavin seemed oblivious to Duncan's sarcasm. I know, right? People out here have no idea what kind of culinary delights they're missing. Search the desk. You gingerly root around the desk, doing your best to avoid the more disgusting piles and spills. It isn't easy. The desk drawers are stuffed to overwhelming with receipts, cigarette packs, optical chips, and cables. Most of the contents are boring, useless, and disgusting. While searching one of the bottom drawers, however, a low-quality tin lockbox catches your eye. Someone has pried the latch off, leaving a ragged hole where the lock should be. The interior of the box has several sleeves for storing key cards, all of which are empty. A small note is taped to the interior of the box. Spare stockroom keys. The doors in the rear of Mrs. Yang's restaurant. Do not lose these. Use only if I'm not able to open the stockroom. Stockroom, huh? So who broke the lockbox to get the keys out? Whoever cleared out Magpie's equipment. I'm thinking you're right. Whoever tore the latch off the box was in a hurry. Any of the others could have cracked the mag lock without much trouble. And most regular wampins could too. This seemed like somebody who was tossing the place and wanted to get in and out as fast as possible. If someone was after Magpie's gear, her stockroom would be a gold mine. Bathroom. Search Magpie's bathroom. There's not much in here. A toothbrush, toilet paper, some hairpins, and a collection of cheap. What's up, DJ? Cheap makeup. The combination bath shower unit, however, has minor flakes of a dry, reddish substance near the drain. Blood. Dried blood. Praying open the drain cover, it looks quite a bit of it was shed as well. I hear on that, man. That sucks. I'm not feeling too wonderful myself. Shit, maybe Magpie didn't take a trip after all. That amount of blood, I'm guessing someone killed her quietly and then drained her body in the bath. Make it cleaner to relocate. Doesn't seem to match the other scenes though. I'm thinking there's a lot more going on with these murders than we initially told. First, they don't even mention Magpie to us, and now it looks like she's been killed. Something is not right here, Crackrok. Let's not mention this to the others. If they're hiding anything, they may start cleaning up their tracks better. I see. Well, I hope you get better, DJ. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm not feeling well, so I think I'm gonna end this here. You came right at the wrong time, DJ. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry to cut this so short, guys, but thanks for watching what little you did. I will try to be back on tomorrow night, either for this or for Underrail, one of the two. So, until next time, boys.